everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anthony. I'm trying to be as decent as possible. Today's video is going to be about Insecure season 4 episode 2. I was supposed to make a video of the season premiere, but girl, I got caught up in like this pandemic that's happening. You know, I'm a grad student. I'm also a teacher. So there's just a lot of moving parts in my life that I need to find a balance for before I got on this camera and do any type of video. So what I can do is kind of talk about some of the scenes from last week, and then hopefully y'all can get my gist of what's going on, because it's a lot to unpack so far. The way I review, first of all, I watched the episode twice. I watched it once with my friend, you know, like on FaceTime, because that's our show. Watched it with her, kind of kikied. Every time I try to film, there's something. Helicopters, people upstairs, it's too much. She's the only person that I've got their opinion of outside of my own. I try not to, you know, listen to other people's opinion because it might skew my thoughts. So I just kind of keep it to myself, hurry up and make a video, and then I watch other people's reviews on the episodes. So I'm just gonna give a synopsis of what happened, and then I'm gonna go on to my approach of my thoughts about the episode, okay? Also, my approach is based on me having my undergrad and graduate degree in psychology, my past relationships, whether that be friendships or dating wise. It's nothing, like, I'm not licensed yet, so don't take my too seriously. It's just my thoughts, okay? So let's get into what happened. Okay, scene 1 was Asian Bae and Molly. Let me tell you, I watched this episode twice. Still don't know Asian Bae's name. We're gonna get better. Is it Andrew? I don't know. But basically, they were out on a date. Andrew got a phone call about something about work, and he was like stressed out. And Molly's like, hey, talk to me. I'm always talking to you, right? And he was like, nah, you're all right. And then they went and they had sex. And it was like, that was it. And I was like, okay, Molly, is she still a virgin, the actress? Because she plays really well, if that's the case. Condola and Issa finally realized that their little situation is awkward. So Condola is Issa's ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend, and they're working together to create a block party in Inglewood. So last week they found out, like, oh my God, you're dating him, and I dated him in the past. So it was kind of awkward last week. But this week, they kind of like squashed it. They kind of just talked about it like, girl, this is awkward. What we gonna do? It was like, nothing. I like you. You like me. You dated him. That's cool. He's weird. Have fun with that. It was really good to see that they weren't kind of like, well, why you broke up with him? What is he a fuck nigga? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't bashing. It was more of just an understanding. Then we move on to like this like Halloween party, or were they just giving out candy? I don't know. That seems kind of weird. But they were all dressed up like Baps and the Clovers and Cleopatra and stuff like that. I just wanted to bring this scene up because Kelly still has no storyline. Kelly is the plus size friend, and I'm kind of tired of roles given to plus size women of just being like either really promiscuous or just funny. I think there needs to be more character development with Kelly for sure. I know, was it last season, we kind of could see some type of character in Kelly other than being like goofy, was when she was kind of upset that she wasn't the godmother of Tiffany's baby. But other than that, there was no character development. Tiffany, at least she got pregnant. That's something. Give Kelly something. Give her her flowers. Also, Molly speaks about Asian Bae and how she feels like it's weird. He doesn't open up to her, and she just be talking, and then they have sex. And the girls don't see no issue with that, but she does. And she's like, you know what? I'm not having sex no more. And did that last long? Well, we will see. Issa, on the other hand, said, girl, bump that. I am with this TSA agent. He got like 3 kids. I know people are like, oh my gosh, she's dating this fat guy. I mean, people date fat guys all the time. So that's not my issue. My issue is that's not her type. Like, we've seen her type. That's not her type. So I think, like, she's just getting whatever she can at this point. You know what I mean? Which is interesting, and I'll talk about that later. But yeah, Issa she needs a man. She's one of those girls who always has a man. That whole scene of the TSA guy, also don't know his name, TSA guy and her and the booty button and the condom being stuck in her, funny as I don't know what, because listen, I'm not going to talk about my experience, but that is just funny to me. I don't know. It's hilarious. Then we go to Molly. She had a meeting with her team because she's a lawyer. And they were talking about someone that she knew or worked for before. And she kind of kept quiet about it. Her guy, the guy she works with, is just an ass. He's just an ass. There's nothing more or less to say about it. He's like really arrogant. And then I remember a couple seasons ago, they said that he went to Morehouse. Makes all the sense. I've talked to men from Morehouse and they're just so arrogant. Not all of them, I'm sure, but there's something in that water for sure. Condola and Lawrence went for a little dinner, and Condola kind of was like, oh my God, Lawrence likes to eat fries with mayonnaise, which one of my cousins likes to do. Maybe it's a man thing because he also likes to do that. And she was like, oh my God, me and Issa was just talking about you eating french fries with mayonnaise. And he was like, what? You and Issa talked about me? Da-da-da. Like, he started getting really defensive. And he was just kind of, Condola kind of was like, no, nothing bad. We just thought it was awkward that we're not talking about you. So we just kind of was like, okay, this is awkward. Let's just talk about it. And he was like, oh, what else y'all talked about? And what else? Okay, no, there's no issue. When Condola asked him if there was an issue, he was like, no. And then Issa and Condola are now getting closer than ever. I can really see in previous seasons, Molly and Issa have been in almost every scene together. Now it's like they're kind of separating in a way. And Issa is now really being friends with Condola. And Condola and Issa were like meeting or eating together, and Molly was supposed to come. Molly came and she was kind of like, the fuck? Molly reminds me of my best friend. My best friend is not with new friends. She can care less. She just wants me to myself. Like, she only likes very few of my friends. You know what I mean? And those are my friends that I had before her that she enjoys. But the new ones, not here for it. So in a way, Molly feels like a third wheel, and I could see that. I can definitely see that. So Molly invited Asian Bae over to her house. She was making gumbo. Salty gumbo for his saltiness, okay? Because Molly asked him to open up about his family, and he was not having it. She was like, you never want to open up to me. And he was like, oh, you always have an issue. And left her in her house to go to some concert. It's just, I can't. I also missed the part where Lawrence went to Issa's house and kind of told her not to talk about him to Condola, and he wants Condola to find out about him on his own. Like, Lawrence wasn't a bad boyfriend, but he wasn't like the best. So I don't see what he's pressed about, but whatever. We'll go with it, Lawrence. And Issa goes along and says, yeah, I won't talk about you no more. And then when Issa goes to the concert, which is the same concert I think Asian Bae went to, she calls Lawrence and was like, hey, did Condola know that you came over to my house and told me that? And he was like, nah, keep it to yourself. She's like, okay. And the last scene, Molly and Issa are taking a hike. And as taking a hike, they're talking about their relationships. And Issa saying, yeah, I cut it off with the TSA guy. And Molly's like, yeah, I think I'm going to have to cut it off with the Asian guy. And she said basically he wouldn't open up to her. And Issa was just like, oh, girl, you always find an issue with these men. Then Molly gets a phone call from Asian Bae, and he apologized, and he said, let's just move forward and keep this moving. And then when Issa asked who it was, because Issa kind of walked away, she asked, oh, who you on the phone with? She's like, nobody, work stuff. And that's how the episode ended. So now we're going to talk about my approach. I'm going to go over my thoughts on everything. This is just, it's a lot, y'all. So Issa's talk with Condola, I truly believe that it was necessary, because if I'm going to work with you and you're dating my ex, whatever, it's going to be awkward, and it was awkward ever since last episode. So I felt like once they talked about it, they were able to move past it. I thought it was very necessary to move past it, right? Lawrence, on the other hand, I'm kind of confused about, because Lawrence is one of those men who don't know how to communicate, right? If you feel an issue with something, you need to say it. We cannot read your mind. So him telling Condola, oh, I have no issue, but then going to Issa, I think was really inappropriate and kind of crossed the boundary, because, I don't know, for me, I don't talk to my exes after we break up. So it's like, you decided to go meet your ex, not even text her this, not even call her this, but like, go meet her. And he kind of went to meet her because his friends kind of told him, like, no, don't text her. But went and meet her and told her not to talk. That's crossing the line. She has nothing to do with your relationship now. You need to go Condola and be open and say, hey, my boundary is don't talk to my ex. Like, that makes sense to me. But for him to go to Issa and say it was kind of problematic, because to me it blurs lines. Like, so when she went to the concert, when she called him and was like, oh, did you tell? And he was like, no, I ain't tell her. Why? That doesn't make sense to me. And then the reason why I say boundaries and lines are kind of being blurred is because you saw how Issa was like, okay, so what are you doing? Like, you know, she thought in her mind, okay, we're friends now, you came over, what's the issue? So I feel like there's going to be some confliction there, where Issa might end up liking Lawrence again, or maybe Lawrence going to like her again, and it's going to be bad blood between Condola and her. So Issa and the TSA guy, I truly believe Issa is at this point, she's just a relationship type person. She needs to have friends around. She needs to have a man around always. It went from Lawrence to Daniel to now TSA guy. Lord knows who's going to be next. But she always has to have a comfort of a man, which I find really interesting. But now that she broke up with TSA guy, I'm wondering if she broke up with TSA guy because she has that comfort for Condola now. Because Molly was never like the comforting person that Condola is. Condola is more so like willing to comfort Issa or give her advice and stuff. Molly kind of makes Issa feels like she's an idiot. And I could tell Issa ain't with that. So she kind of was like, ugh, all right, now that I have Condola, I don't need, you know, the TSA guy. Sorry, y'all. This lighting is going to be... Sorry, y'all. This lighting is going to be crazy because the sun is, like, doing whatever it wants. But Asian Bae and Molly, again, Asian Bae has problems communicating. I don't see nothing wrong with what Molly's asking. You need to open up. How are we going to be in a relationship? And I don't, you know, open up about who your mother is or where you came from or how's work doing. I can't do all the talking. You know what I mean? And I think her actually putting it out there, she's being a good communicator, and he's just not, which is a red flag for me, because if you're a grown man and you can't communicate stuff, it's just not going to work out. It's just not going to work out. I thrive, personally for me, I thrive off of communication. So if the communication's not there, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Molly and Issa and Condola, that friendship is never going to work out, because Molly and Issa were always like this. It was always just the two of them. It was never a threesome. Like, even though they had Tiffany and Kelly, it was never like just the two. It was always just the two of them hanging out. So now that there's Condola, it's going to be bad blood, because Molly is just used to being like the go-to person for Issa, and now Issa has someone else. But then Molly needs to understand that she needs to be a better friend. I'm not saying she's the worst friend, but she is the blunt type of friend where it's like, can't really tell them everything. And I had to learn that with my best friend. I have like 2 best friends, 3. But you need to be aware of your words, because your words can diminish your message, right? So Molly doesn't know how to deliver a message, and it shows last week when she was kind of like, girl, you stupid for being friends with Canola, like that. She doesn't know how to be soft in her approach. She might be saying the correct things, and but it's just the way she said it is kind of off. Whereas Condola, you could tell she's the type to really think before she speaks, and comfort Issa in a way that Molly cannot. So there's going to be some problems there. I can predict now that Issa, I kind of wish they didn't put that in the season premiere. They had Issa on the phone call saying like, yeah, fuck that bitch Molly, you know, whatever. I need to stop cursing. But I wish they didn't put that on there, because now I'm anticipating that, whereas I wanted to be shocked. But I just want to see what happens. I can see like it going a multitude of ways, but yeah, I really think that friendship is kind of going down. And I see that also in the last scene when Molly didn't want to tell Issa she was on the phone with, which was Asian Bae, because she didn't feel support from Issa. But I just find it interesting that she never supports Issa in her boyfriends or whatever, but now that Issa doesn't support her, it's like, I'm not gonna tell you anything anymore, you know. But she didn't tell her that, but yeah. And then for Issa needs to understand Molly's a catch, okay? Molly makes 6 figures. Molly has a nice apartment. Molly is that girl. And it's hard being that girl as a Black woman and trying to find your equal. She's not, she had one guy who was bisexual. She had one guy who was married. And now she has this guy who's not opening up. So it's not like, so her telling Molly, oh, you always find an issue. Those are valid issues. But Issa kind of, she's the type to just take whatever she can. And they're really two opposite people. And sometimes they can connect, and sometimes they don't. And we can see that it's not working out too well. In my friendship, personally, I would say, if I was Molly, I would say, hey, you saying that I always do that makes me feel this. Because Issa, what Molly's doing is now kind of taking it out on Issa without Issa even knowing, right? She didn't know what she did wrong. Issa didn't even know that, like, she's keeping information from her now. So I really believe, like, if she said, hey, Issa, when you just said that I always find something wrong, it makes me feel like something's wrong with me and I don't feel like talking to you anymore. I do that with my best friends all the time. If they're not all the time, because they don't always, you know, piss me off, but when they do, I'm like, hey, when you do this, it makes me feel this way. And then we kind of get an understanding, because child, this is about to go downhill and I can't wait for it. This episode kind of got cut off in a weird way. I thought it was going to continue, but we didn't even get the full 30 minutes. We got like a good 25, if that. Issa, you had 2 years. I hope this season is really good. Yeah, because last season wasn't. So I really hope this season's better. Again, we need more character development. Everyone needs more character development. I feel like we're stagnant. Issa, she going up there. Lawrence, he got character development. And he didn't even deserve it. So, whatever. Anyway, I don't know. That's my approach. Let me know how you thought about the episode. How you feel about each relationship and each character's dynamic. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video, which I don't know what's going to be on next, but definitely I will see you soon. Bye.